What are you stress modelling around your children? So, what a strange question, Jane Evans. Yeah, maybe it is, but it's just a theme that keeps coming up at the moment when I'm working with adults, is how they have been so impacted by the way that the adults in their early lives felt about and behaved about chores and tasks and things that had to be done. So maybe getting the meal, if the parent or the carer found that a super stressful thing to do, which I completely understand, it's not one of my favourites, then of course the child was bathed in the change in energy when it came to near mealtime and the preparation started happening, and it's all very tense and whizzy and fueled with stress. Or it might have been doing the cleaning. It might have been, this is a favourite one, getting ready to go out somewhere. So that is often a time when, understandably, as adults, our stress kicks in, particularly if you've got several children to get ready, but even if you've got one child to get ready, it's when, boom, we start rushing about, becoming a bit scattered, very stressed, maybe getting a bit short and sharp and all that kind of thing, exasperated. So we are stress modelling without meaning to at all, and probably without realising, to our children that these things in daily life feel very overwhelming. They switch my nervous system into a state of fight, flight and panic. And of course, I say of course, but it may not be of course to you, their nervous system, so their body system and their brain system, is constantly getting bathed in that energy. It's releasing the same chemicals as you are. It's going into the same state of fight, flight, even in the run up to all these things. So they will sense the switch in you, and it will flick their system as well. And then over time, and it really doesn't take very much time, I'm seeing this with, being around my granddaughter, not that she's necessarily experiencing any of this, but it all happens really fast. What goes in, what gets stored, and how they react, it's faster than I ever would have believed. So what can you do? Because, many of us, I really find even the thought of cleaning, it just makes me feel all kind of stressed and uncomfortable and miserable and resistant and overwhelmed and all that, which, I know where it's come from, but it's also something that I have to do. So first of all, begin a bit of an awareness journey. Be very kind to yourself, but maybe focus on one thing. Do I, when we are getting ready to go out, or I have to be somewhere on time, does my whole way of being, my energy, the way I'm talking, the way I'm moving, the kind of tightness in my body, does that happen? Because that's a big aha for you. And then choose one simple thing. And when simple and easy, these are not the same words, but one thing that you can find quite simple to do, it's not a complicated thing, that you're going to just go, okay, I know I've got to get ready in 10 minutes, I'm just going to quickly, if it feels comfortable, because everyone's body is very different. For me, like putting my hands on the top of my head, just taking a few breaths. My body likes that, your body may not, so you might have to experiment with what your grounding tool is, but just do 1 or 2 rounds of that before you go into the preparing the meal or doing the cleaning. These are things that I don't like, that's why I'm using them as examples, or getting ready to go out. Just experiment. So start with awareness. Think about one thing that you might already know. I always get stressed about even maybe sitting down and the eating, what's going to happen. It makes me feel anxious inside because I don't, getting the children to eat. all those kinds of things. Because if you take this stuff really seriously without being horrible to yourself, it's going to have a great impact for your children. Because what I see in the adults that I work with is the roots of all their overwhelm, what's often called procrastination, avoidance, whatever you want to call it. It all began in these early childhood experiences of the adult or adults around us getting really stressed and really, you know, resenting or hating or disliking maybe cooking. I mean, I'm not a big fan of cooking, if I'm honest. Or, as I say, cleaning, or something that had to be done, and that, you know, you now as a fully fledged adult, you have to do some of this stuff too. So pay attention to it, get into a habit of, I'm just trying to do something to just make sure that that big head of steam doesn't build up inside of me, and before I know it, I'm crashing and banging around and muttering under my breath and maybe getting irritated with the children because I'm doing the thing that I just don't like doing. Because it's a real gift that you will pay forward for them, so that when they are adults and they have to start doing some of this stuff, it won't feel so horrible and toxic for them as well. So let me know how you get on. Maybe if you feel like it, let me know what your thing is that you know that you always get really raw about, but you have to do most days. Let me know in the comments. Take care.